G'day, wonderful listeners. This is episode 81 of TrevsTalk, and I'm your host, Trev. Last week, I left off talking about Mr. Freeman, the local Aboriginal school principal, and me making a great team to take the Moorditj Scholarship Fund project into the future. But in the meantime, I have to get the present status of the fund more tightly organised. I have still not heard from Chelsea of the Salvos as to their total commitment. Pastor Margaret from the Victory Life Church has said no, through her PA, that she is not interested in getting involved with my Aboriginal education project. Her PA said they were in outreach to 14 nations and could not see a benefit for them in my project. So there you are. The Victory Life Church will not join us, and the Salvos have not, as yet, committed. I can make the Scholarship Fund still work with only 3 co-founders, but it will be much more efficient with 4. Anyway, some positive news is that my approaching our local IGA manager, Lee, to advertise on our bus again for an annual fee of $1,000 has borne fruit. Lee's community chest raises money for selected charities by collecting small portions of the money they get from sales, and the community chest has paid our $1,000 advertising fee into our bank account. When I give the website designer the okay to go ahead, I will make sure that the IGA gets on our website and is shown to be a supporter of education for Aboriginal youth. Because the Medjugorje Centre does not have DGR status with the tax office, businesses that donate to the centre need to be paying for advertising, not just donating. So when IGA pays for their name on our minibus, it is advertising, not just a donation, and that way means they get a tax deduction. I will check with Nat, a Catenian accountant in our group, when I ride in the same car as him when visiting another Catenian group in a couple of weeks' time to give them a talk. I will ask Nat whether it would be tax deductible for taxpayers if they paid the Medjugorje Centre for advertising their names as co-founders or supporters on our website. So instead of just donating to us, taxpayers would be shown as advertisers on our supporter page. If done this way, the funds paid in would be declaring the taxpayer as a friend of Aboriginal people and win them good public relations. Imagine a mining company paying us a few thousand to be shown as co-founder of a fund awarding scholarships to Aboriginal students. Surely that would be classed by the tax office as advertising and therefore tax deductible. A bit further down the track, it might be possible to get a big sum of money from a mining company if it were tax deductible. For instance, if a company gave us $20,000, that would cover the scholarships for a whole school. I wonder if it would be desirable for a mining company to be the sole patron of a whole school. Or would it be desirable for them to be one of 4 co-founders and not have to outlay the full amount required and just come up with $5,000? Wondering about this idea of approaching big mining companies is exciting when I think they just might decide to take on the patronage of a whole school. That could speed us up into more rapid expansion of the Scholarship Fund project. I have completed the online application for Class 2 medical clearance as suggested by CAS's Complex Cases Manager. It is now properly submitted, and the next step is to get examined by a dame doctor. I have looked up those doctors and made an appointment with one, but had to cancel as my case of flu is still running strongly. The saga of a conditional plane licence is still unresolved and will not advance until my flu has disappeared. I am really hopeful that this time I will get a conditional medical clearance and fulfil the prophecies of my 3 special dreams. Now here is a very interesting thing that has bobbed up. While reading through news items on my computer, I saw an article on the pedophile Bishop of Broome. He is very much in the news right now. I won't give an opinion on his case at the moment, as it is before the courts, and he is entitled to a proper court hearing, which should bring to light whether he is guilty or not. The court should judge him guilty or not. It is not my place to do that. However, the news article also mentioned the fact that the Catholic Church has a plane, which the bishop uses in his church work. Well, wonderful listeners, if you are a regular listener, you would certainly know me enough by now to guess that if I heard about a plane being in the hands of the Catholic Church, I would immediately jump to conclusions and wonder if there is some way I could get the use of that plane. See how I jump to positive conclusions? You could hardly say I'm a negative person, but really, it really is a possible way I could get to fly cheaply, as the first of my 3 plane dreams claimed. This idea of me flying the church's plane is hard to believe right now, I agree, but when I start giving talks in country towns and get more known, then I may just become eligible for flying a Catholic plane. I'm not too excited about the plane as yet because I have not yet got a licence to fly. A licence to fly is, in all reality, about a year away. I have to pass the Dame Doctor's exam and get a conditional medical clearance, as well as having to pass my flying test after doing many hours of flying with an instructor. But I do see the possibility now of me flying cheaply around country towns. All the things needed for me to do that are coming together. It just needs a bit more time. I just need a bit more patience. I gave a talk and offered my book to my Vinnies group a few days ago. They need to know what is going on. I am a member of that group and have a responsibility to keep them informed. I approached Vinnies to become a co-founder directly with Vinnies State President and me as the President of the Medjugorje Centre. I was right to do it that way, as only I can answer all questions regarding the Moorditj Scholarship Fund project and secure Vinnies as the first co-founder of our first school. It would have been too hard to try and go through my local Vinnies group. I would have had to explain my project over and over again to the different levels of Vinnies people in positions of authority. It was just not practical to do that. However, I thought it might be the right thing to do to give them a talk and bring them up to date on me involving Vinnies State President. A talk to them made it possible to offer them my book, which tries to explain how my visit to Medjugorje back in 1990 completely changed the direction of my life. My little Vinnies group did take up my offer, and a couple of members purchased my book. So I was doing what Our Lady wants me to do by passing on word of Medjugorje and how it has a powerful effect on some people. Me giving talks to small groups is good because it helps me get used to public speaking, which I must admit is hard for me to do. I have to psych myself up to do it and always feel a sense of relief when I finish speaking. Talking to small groups at first will make it easier for later on when I have to talk to large groups. I also get to practice using my tap and go terminal, which has to be used differently when I have Wi-Fi to connect to or not. The tap and go terminal works in tandem with my mobile phone, and I'm not the greatest when it comes to technical stuff, so a bit of practice is good. Well, wonderful listeners, I've come to the end of this week's podcast and hope you will tune in again next week for the latest news on where my spiritual journey is taking me. Hopefully, I will get over this flu soon and be healthy for my conditional medical clearance exam. This is Trev, tuning out